What's up, everyone? Wanted to record this video yesterday, but I was feeling so bad. Like, the last few days, I just felt awful, and figured I would try to record this now, because the feeling didn't really get real bad until later in the day for some reason. Um, right after I woke up, I felt okay, but I've noticed, I've been seeing some comments in some other people's videos saying that they're feeling the same way. It's like this uneasy, bad feeling they can't shake. And I think we may have entered another ramp up or another spiritual layer into the end times around the 4th of July. I think I had better words for it, but just another phase, if you will, another series of birth pangs. That veil is getting thinner, and we're in an evil place right now in this world. But I have some analogies and metaphors that the Lord's given me. I want to share with you guys, and I also want to show you some more of the, I guess, about 3 dreams that I've had that I think I've got sufficient pictures of, and then a 4th dream that it was kind of a dream, but kind of not. I don't really know how to explain it, but uh, it was a very, not a vague dream, but a very brief, just, I was only there for a few seconds, um, but yeah, I think we've entered into another phase. And uh, another thing I learned from Dragon Ball Z is uh, when two very powerful opponents would fight each other, they would not go all out right at first. They would test each other and slowly ramp up to their maximum. And I think that's what the Lord is doing with the evil here on the earth, and what his wrath is going to do is let evil climax to its absolute maximum manifestation until he destroys it, with the word of his mouth and the brightness of his coming. But guys, we're in for a heck of a show when we get up there. I don't. It's not gonna be what a lot of us expect, and really any of us expect. It says we come back with him on white horses as an army ready to do battle. And it also says, well, when John was called up there, he was shown Jesus taking the scroll and opening the seals. And then he saw what was happening on the earth as a result. And I think that's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch what happens on the earth, and we're going to see our Father and Jesus taking care of business, so to speak. And we may even serve a role, an active role in it. There's not anything in the Bible that opposes that, and I don't know if there's anything to support it. But I'll go ahead and get into these analogies. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is this feeling that we're all experiencing. The first, probably the most accurate one is the trampoline analogy, but I wanted to show you this. This one needs to be deleted. Okay, can't be deleted. Cool. Anyway, so imagine a bow and arrow. When you start drawing back on the bow, the stress and pressure begin to build on both the arrow and the bow and the string. Everything gets tighter and a lot more tension built into it. And the further back you pull the arrow, the greater the tension becomes, until finally it's released. And the further back that string is pulled, the further your trajectory is. And you can also apply this to a slingshot. I did a video a while back titled "Are You in the Sling?" and it talks about uh, like imagine just a modern day slingshot being pulled back, as in about to be slung. Uh, the further back you're pulled, all that stress and pressure are both on the object that is getting propelled and on the band of the slingshot. And you can also use this for I use the David sling analogy, where the old style slings where they used to pick up a stone and swirl it around in the air, and that also builds a lot of pressure and uh, centrifugal force, and it puts g's of gravity on the object, and it puts a lot of stress and pressure on it. But once it's released, all that stress and pressure disappears, and it turns into trajectory and force in a forward motion. But I think the better illustration of this same concept is this. Uh, Jesus said the first will be last and the last will be first. And you see a man here, you know, being pulled down on a trampoline, and you see burden, stress, pressure, suffering, humility, and you see heaven up here, and storms and desolate scenery down here. And this is about where I think we are right now. At least how I'm feeling. And it did a pretty good job with the stones and chains and everything. But the further down you go into that trampoline, the more pressure and stress that's applied to you in this moment that we're at here, the greater the reaction's going to be. It's just the laws of physics, and I do believe it applies in a deeper metaphorical sense. But the Lord is a Lord of balance and laws. The laws of nature are going to apply in a spiritual sense as well. And I do believe this is something he showed me. This metaphor or analogy, if you will, whatever you want to call it, of being pressed down, and the more stress and pressure is on you. It's like Lazarus and the rich man. When the rich man had an easy life and lived in luxury and comfort, and then woke up in hell, and Lazarus was begging at the rich man's door for help. And it even says that, and I should have pulled that scripture up, but it says uh Lazarus experienced torment in that life, and now he is comforted. And you were comforted in that life, and now you experience torment. But anyway, it all kind of ties in together. But I just wanted to revisit that metaphor, because I feel like it really applies to us now, in these feelings that we're experiencing, these dark spiritual oppressions that it seems like we're under, and we are under it. The next thing I guess I'll show is I made two videos. One of them I mentioned, actually I think I've mentioned both of these in live streams, but these are really good. I'll just go ahead and play them. I'm probably gonna make a smaller video including all of the analogies and metaphors that I'm talking about here, just to have a more succinct video on my channel. But I'm just gonna let this play. Okay, so I just wanted to show that. Sorry, there is Nova's on my keyboard again. So I had to turn it off. Okay, so that was, that was from a movie called Force Majeure. And I had seen that scene in I don't know where, it might have been on YouTube or something, but it just really hit me, like the days of Noah. Like, and even during COVID, when people overseas were dealing with uh, COVID, and they, we were watching it from here, and it seemed like a small thing at first, and then it got bigger and bigger and closer to us until finally we were in it, and that's what hit me when I saw that video the first time, is like what happened with COVID. But there's a greater sense that with the tribulation that's coming. Right now, we're looking at this oil shortage and the Strait of Hormuz and all this stuff happening far away from us, but eventually it's going to come home. And I don't believe we're going to be affected by it. I believe this is the time where there is a snatching away, right before the disaster hits. And I'm talking right before. I mean, this next video will show you what I'm talking about here. See how close? When I saw this video, I knew too that that was an illustration of the rapture, the snatching away. Look at that. Crazy. But that brings me to several dreams that I've had of this, type of the tribulation coming at us. I guess I'll start with this one here. So I was working at a job somewhere, and I was on, like, I don't know what, a high floor in a building, and we see this TV that says there's just this massive, biggest storm that's ever developed on Earth over China, and that it's spreading. And it just took a couple of seconds for us to walk from the TV to the window, and that's what we see. Just a black cloud coming at us. And it's like rushing at us. And I don't remember if it had lightning in it or not, but I do remember the clouds were that color, just complete blackness, pitch black, and they were all the way to the ground. It looked like a dust storm. And I just did a couple of iterations here, and it was getting closer and closer. And yeah, that's one where it was getting closer. I did some with lightning. I don't vividly remember the lightning. I know it probably wasn't that intense, but I just made some different versions, iterations. And then we went down to the road, and it was like all around us, and there was this light shining right overhead. And I made one with lightning and without lightning. I don't think there was lightning in it, to be honest, but uh, and then the light got brighter and the storm closed in more, and uh, then we heard a trumpet. So that's where the dream ended. I just made a couple of different versions. I don't know which one is the most accurate. Probably this one, honestly. But that was the storm uh, of that big black dust cloud looking thing that started. It started in China. I do remember that. And that, ever since people have been talking about the Mark of the Beast system, how they already have it implemented in China in the social credit score system and stuff, that's kind of what I'm thinking it means, but it could mean something else. It could mean like China invades Taiwan, or somebody attacks China. I'm not really sure, and that just kind of like sets the dominoes off for the rest of the world. I don't know. But that brings me to, I've had several dreams just like this of being like surrounded by tornadoes, and just like it's me and several other people standing in a field, and I'm pretty sure they're my family and friends. Um, like like I said, I've had so many dreams of this. This is just an overall depiction of the similarities of the dreams, what they have in common. But we're always standing in the sunlight in this field, and we see this storm approaching. It's a recurring dream. Um, and then everything gets darker. There's tornadoes like all around us, 360 degrees, and they're closing in. And they get closer and closer, and instead of panicking, we just raise our hands and start cheering and jumping for joy because we know what's happening. And the light pierces through the clouds. Did a couple of iterations of this. And then we transform. Obviously, I have not seen this part, but the dream always ends, like right here. But there's always that light protruding from the clouds. So I've had so many dreams of that. I don't know, probably 15 or 20. But that is the tribulation stuff that I wanted to cover. Um, there's still uh, two more things that I wanted to show you guys. This is another dream that I had of uh, this old man in like dark gray or light gray robes and pouches and stuff was guiding me and leading me through all these ruins, and we're going towards this mountain, and I did not realize the meaning of this dream until I woke up. And I didn't realize who this was until I woke up. But this is yeah, I don't remember the exact imagery, but we were just walking through the ruins, so I did a couple of different versions. This is still when we're looking at the mountain from below, and this is looking back at the ruins that we walked through from like halfway up the mountain. And yeah, it's another version. It seemed like the atmosphere was more like this, maybe a little brighter than that. I don't know. Just made a couple of different iterations of this because I'm not sure the exact configuration of the ruins or anything. But he took me to the very, very top of the mountain, and I was freaked out by how high up we were. Um, you know, I mean, we were above the clouds, overlooking all these ruins below. And then I woke up and I realized the meaning of the dream was these are all the plans that I had had for my own life. And they were going to be destroyed no matter what. Because if you plan out your own life according to your own understanding, you know, it says that there is a way that seems right to a man, but it ends in death. So I realized this was God. This was a depiction of the Lord. And he was taking me through my plans up higher and higher until we were at a point in elevation that I didn't even know was possible, and kind of freaked me out a little bit. And it was just him and I up there. And I think this is a good metaphor for, you know, whenever we face destruction in our lives, or um, face discomfort of, say, having to climb a mountain. You know, there's a place that we're going, there's a destination, and it's not easy getting there. It's not pleasant walking through all of these destroyed plans of yours that have crumbled to the ground and become nothing, but you're going somewhere that is greater than you could have ever imagined. So that's about the end of that one. The last thing I wanted to show is I've had these slight little. This is the one where I was talking about. I haven't been there for very long, but I've seen a little bit of this like mall style place where there's several layers, and some of these are way too colorful, and uh, I should have turned down the saturation a bit, but but you can see there's people and pets and stuff like that, and crystals everywhere. Everything's built out of crystal, and well, there's some places with like really nice mahogany wood and marble and stuff like that. Just really nice, like precious stones and materials. But there are several layers, like a mall, but they go way, way up high. And remember, the New Jerusalem, they measure its width, its length, and its height are all equal. So I don't know if that's going to be a cube or a, wouldn't want to say a pyramid, but you know, who knows? I mean, you know, with God, I mean, Satan, everything Satan has done has been a counterfeit of God. So if the pyramids were built to replicate something, I don't know, but it was much taller than this. But this was the general sense, except it wasn't this bright. It was like this, and I mean, I imagine there are different sections, but this reminded me of when it says, "In my Father's house there are many mansions," and this is like a great big house with mansions all throughout it. So I have seen things like this and been on different levels, but nothing too great of detail has stuck with me. So I just made a couple of different versions, and this one's got way too many people for my liking. But you know what though? That's just for now. Um, I know the people that are in heaven are going to be good people and people who care about each other and love each other. And this is the last one. This is the coolest one for me because I like I call it the Tron style house. I like the Tron lighting. But anyway, just kind of getting, you know, seeing what I can come up with based on what I've seen in dreams. Um, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, guys, the people in heaven, people here wear me out. They do. I've even heard of people talking about like energy vampires, like they just kind of suck you dry of your joy and your energy, and um, that's why I like to live in places with very sparse populations. Um, because when I lived in Dallas, Fort Worth, like, and it was just every day was a beatdown, and it still is, but just in a different way. I feel like it's much less manifested in out in the country. I couldn't. I mean, I went to Manhattan for a few days and toured it, and I could not believe as soon as we flew in, there was this. You could feel the entity of the. You know how they say different demons are given control over different areas. You could feel the spirit, and it's like it was hard to get through to feel the Lord, and it didn't affect me for as long as I was there, like in a bad way. But if I lived there, I mean, I don't know, it would be really hard to have a relationship with God for me, and that's why I think He's moved me from Dallas, Fort Worth, out into the country, you know, because it seems like I'm more able to be in touch with Him, and He's able to do more of His style work within me or whatever. But I mean, it's always His plan, but He has shown me that me living in a more populated area has not yielded good fruit or results. So another thing I wanted to mention, guys, and I'm about to end it here, but I'm sorry if you guys have been getting too many notifications from my channel. Uh, I am going forward. I'm just gonna have when I do videos like this, send out notifications. I'm gonna be posting other things, but it's not gonna blow your phone up with notifications. So, because I know for I've unsubscribed from certain channels from getting too many notifications. So, and I don't even have notifications turned on for the most part. But if I see, like, if I look at my subscriptions feed and it's just one channel is filled everything up and I can't find other stuff, I'll unsubscribe, because there's no way to remain subscribed and not see, filter out that subscriptions tab. So, but anyway, guys, just hold on. I've got to stick with the hope that it can be any day. If I don't have that hope, then I don't know. For me, I've got to have that hope. I can't live without it. I can't, I can't live my life as if it can't happen until a few months down the road or anything like that. It's got to be a possibility every day. And I do believe it's going to surprise pretty much everybody when it happens. But I was watching an interview with L.A. Marzulli. Steve actually came over and showed it to me, and I'm really glad he did, because there was one point that L.A. Marzulli has had a couple of visions, or actually he said he was taken to. The first one, he said he was riding on a white horse with Jesus in front of him, and he was like 8 rows back, and they were coming back to the earth, and he said he was only there for 3 seconds, but he remembers it. And then he said he had a second one that he can't really talk about, but he said it's almost over. And when he said that, I knew exactly what he was talking about, and it hit my spirit like, hold on, it's almost over. And when it is, remember the trampoline. Because we are pressed down right now. We are under it. pretty soon all of that stress and pressure and gravitational force that's oppressing us is going to turn into weightlessness and upward trajectory. So all of that stress and oppression is going to vanish in an instant, the twinkling of an eye. It cannot happen soon enough for me. So, guys, love you. And if I don't see you on the next one, I'll see you in the air. Peace.